right. Well, speaking of the color blue, let's transition to the Carolina Panthers. You're going to do the drop, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
All right.
I don't think he hates him as much as he used to.
All right. So they've restructured the offense a little bit here. They have a healthy Greg Olsen. They brought in DJ Moore. They brought in CJ Anderson to pair with Christian McCaffrey. But first off, we have to talk about Cam Newton. He was 6 in points per game last year. He's currently going as a 6th quarterback off the board at 706. Is that a fair price for him?
He needs my 6. There's a lot of 6s here.
Yeah, he's not going in the 4th round. I like him in the 7th, especially since he has a ton of rushing upside.
I'd love to get him in the 7th.
He's going to keep doing that. I've almost taken him in the 7th a couple times, and he's
always
taken the
top.
pick before me.
He's always top 2, top 3 in all the rushing categories for quarterbacks. You just hope that he can be a little more consistent with his throwing, and with a healthy Greg Olsen as the safety net, I think you're going to see that.
Well, and with the throwing, though, he's never thrown the ball more than 517 times. He's never had a completion percentage over 62, which is not good. So
You're relying on touchdowns and big plays.
8 games under 16 fantasy points. I love him in best ball. I don't want him as my redraft quarterback, though, and that's because unless you're playing in a points league, you can't take him with you. You can't take the blow-up weeks with you, and he's going to be meh and lose you almost as many weeks as he's going to win you.
Yep. He had 7 games below 18 points, 5 above 29.
Yep.
He's boom bust.
He's very boom bust, and to me, I don't want that in my head-to-head players because I'm trying to win as many games as possible. Now, if I'm playing best ball, if I'm playing in a league where it's based on points only, yeah, I love it, but I don't love it in head-to-head.
Well, with him going in the 7th, I still love it. He's my QB4. I'll take him there happily.
Yeah, I got him at 4.
He'll probably, I think he was at 5 for me before I projected him out, and we'll see where he ends up after that, but it's going to be in the 4 to 6 range.
All right. Anything else you want to add on Cam Newton? That seemed like that was relatively painless for a Cam Newton discussion.
Yeah. Seventh.
It's always much the same with Cam Newton.
7th in danger plays, 11th in interceptable throws, 64% true completion, which is the worst among starters in the league, which takes out throwaway passes and whatnot. You'd normally expect a decent gap between your completion percent and your true completion percent, and his was only 2 percentage points. So it's nothing you don't know about Cam Newton, though. He sucks at throwing a football, and he's great at running with a football.
And he takes all the goal line carries.
Yes, he does.
Yep.
Yes, goal line whore.
All right. Speaking of goal line carries, let's move on to the running backs. Christian McCaffrey and CJ Anderson.
That was a really bad transition
I'll say
because you went,
CMC had
speaking
0.
of goal line carries, and you went to Christian McCaffrey, who had none. And will continue to have none.
But he's a PPR monster, so
Yep.
he's
He was-
about as safe as you can get, as I put in quotes.
He was 15th in points per game last year. He's currently going 206 in ADP, 11th running back off the board.
All right, you ready for all the YouTube hate I'm going to get for this?
Yep.
No one's duplicated a season of 110 plus targets as a running back. It was 19th in juke rate, which is pretty average for a shifty guy. 40th in yards created, 52nd in the per carry department. That's not great. It's for a guy that is supposed to be a playmaker. Under 4 yards of carry against all fronts, including light. No goal line carries. You added DJ Moore with Greg Olsen coming back, which is going to cut into his target attempts. And CJ Anderson's there to take the Jonathan Stewart role, who's
Plus,
also a proficient pass catcher. So,
you can't have him as your RB1 because he doesn't have RB1 upside. He doesn't run the football.
he's got to be your RB2. And as an RB2,
running back 2 only.
As an RB2, especially in PPR, I like him.
Yep.
So don't get it wrong. I don't hate Christian McCaffrey. I hate people that think Christian McCaffrey is more than what Christian McCaffrey is.
Yeah. 206 is definitely too high. I have him as a back end second, early third.
Plus, I want to see what he does with a year of Olsen involved, because that was all without Olsen last year. So I'd love to see how that.
I do too.
factors in.
I got him at 210 touches, 121 rushes, 93 targets. So I didn't kill his target volume with DJ Moore and Greg Olsen coming in, but I did knock it back reasonably so because I don't know any offensive coordinator that says I want to throw to my running back 110 times.
So to put a little bit positive spin on him too, from week 9 on, he did average 4.9 yards a carry. So he did trend upward as the year went on. A lot of his bad weeks were early in the season when he was still learning the offense, and they were kind of struggling offensively in general. So I could see him continuing to improve in between the tackles to the point where he's at least a competent runner there, and he's at least giving you some production there as opposed to being strictly a pass catcher.
I bumped him up to where he's going to pull around to 500 yards and 2 touchdowns on 150 carries, and that's reasonable since he doesn't get anything in the red zone or goal line as far as a running back. So
Yeah, I got him flirting with maybe 600 rushing, 600 receiving, right around there with that. I mean, I'd love him as rock solid running back too, especially in PPR, obviously.
All right. And then Anderson comes in. He's currently going 809 off the board,
I
40th running
love
back.
that.
He was 28th in points per game last year on a very, very dysfunctional Broncos offense where they're constantly giving Devontae Booker the ball for some reason. Where do you guys have him ranked, and do you like the value? Hopper already mentioned you like the value at least.
Yeah. No, I
Underrated.
he is very underrated.
A better Jonathan Stewart. So
Jonathan, and mentioning Jonathan Stewart carried the ball 190 times last year. CJ Anderson was 8th in evaded tackles, 13th in juke rate, 18th in yards created, which is an improvement over Jonathan Stewart.
Yep.
And Stewart had 12 goal line carries and 7 total touchdowns compared to Christian McCaffrey's 0 goal line carries, or 7 rushing touchdowns. So, CJ Anderson's a lock for at least that. I've got him carrying the ball, we'll call it 183 times, 750 yards, 7 touchdowns. Also pulling 39 targets because I think he gets targeted more than Jonathan Stewart does.
Oh, he's a much better pass
He's a better
catcher.
pass catcher.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I have him projected for 215 touches.
I've got him at, let's see, what's 183 plus 39?
Well, I said touches, not
No, so am I.
touches would be catches, not targets.
Sorry. 183 plus 26 then, so I've got him at 209.
So, yeah, we're 6 off of each other. So CJ Anderson's definitely a value. I've currently got him as my 36 in my initial rankings, but I think he'll slide closer to 30.
By the way, sidebar rant, I never understood why you calculate catches as touches instead of targets, because targets mean they're trying to get them the ball and not just the amount of times they caught the ball. So that seems to matter more to me than actual touches.
I think targets is definitely a useful metric to look at, but touches is strictly looking at just how effective was the team at actually getting the ball in their hands and how often was it happening.
I care how much they try to get the ball in their hands.
Is there any concern? I'm going to move off this. Is there any concern with them losing their all-pro guard, Andrew Newell?
Oh yeah, I think. Well,
I think
of course
that'll affect them on as these inside runners too.
Now I think it'll be balanced out a little bit by their receiving weapon just being so much better that it should help the fronts a little bit. But yeah, it definitely affects the team.
No, it does, and that's why I didn't give anybody a major efficiency bump, because I feel like losing Norwell, it hurts, but then you, like Nick mentioned, you bring Olsen back, you add DJ Moore, it helps the receiving core. They can't key on the run as much, so I feel like that makes it better. Yeah,
it should be. It's probably a slight ding when you balance it all out, but it should be pretty much close to what it was last year. Plus, Anderson, I think, is such a more dynamic runner than Stewart is at this point in their careers.
Well, he's not 90, so yeah.
That helps.
Yeah.
He's 5 years younger than him. So
yeah, he is.
All right. Devin Funchess and DJ Moore, who are you preferring as the one to get the more volume?
DJ Moore. Devin Funchess should not be a 1. I've actually got them really close to each other. I think it's going to be pretty split, but Devin Funchess should absolutely not be the 1 there. He had 6.9 targets a game last season with almost no one else. He was 35th in YAC, 37th in yards per pass route, 58th in separation, 21st in contested catch rate. The efficiency numbers just aren't there to support Devin Funchess being the most targeted wide receiver. So I've got it pretty even between him and DJ Moore and Greg Olsen. I don't have anybody necessarily running away with it. I've got a slight edge to Moore and then Funchess and then Olsen as far as targets go. But I think DJ Moore is a better wide receiver already.
So I actually...
Oh, yeah, I agree already right now, yeah. But I think in the beginning, it's still definitely going to be Funchess until Moore gets his feet wet. But,
yeah,
I mean, Moore's got great upside. I mean, he's my Dynasty 1, as he should be. Everybody's.
For Dynasty, he's absolutely my 1. That's not even... He's not even the same tier as anybody else for receivers.
Yeah.
But for me, I actually have Olsen as the 1 for targets because historically he's gotten 110-plus targets if he's been healthy. I think he takes Funchess' targets. Funchess drops down into the 90-100 range, and Moore's probably in the 80-90 range.
So I've got DJ Moore at 98. I've got... Let's see what I got Greg Olsen at. I gotta wait for my computer to fucking...
Well, Dan, give your thoughts. All
right, so here are the ADPs. You have 709 for Funchess, and you have 912 for DJ Moore. I like Funchess.
Almost a round since I prepped.
I like Funchess. What is he now?
No, I had him at 1008 when I prepped. He jumped almost a round.
I like Devin Funchess just for his value because I think he will see enough targets. I think DJ Moore is gonna he'll have to get his feet. He'll have to at least get to that point. I think Greg Olsen's gonna take well more than enough away from both of them. But he's also 33 years old, and he's coming off of a foot. He's coming off of 2 foot injuries or 1 foot injury that he's had issues with throughout last year. So who knows where that would be, when it comes to that. It's just I like Funches as a flex play, for next year, not as a wide receiver 1 or entrusted to.
I've got him as a low 3.
I do too.
He's my 25, so he's my.
That's a high 3.
That's a high 3.
I've got Funches at 86 targets, more at 98, Olsen at 103.
Okay,
so we're all chalk on that.
So it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Plus, being receivers on Carolina, never good for fantasy. Ever since they've had Newton, it's finished outside the top 20 pass attempts every season with Newton. So,
you're
not like
you're looking for touchdowns. That's how these Carolina receivers have made their hay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the only way.
All right. Greg Olsen, where does he fall in your tight end rankings?
My 5.
He's
top 5 easy.
Top 5, and he's being extremely undervalued.
601 right now.
Yes.
Yes,
I got
sir.
him at.
I have him as my 4. He is currently going as the 5th tight end off the board, but it's a pretty decent gap between the top 4 and him.
Yep. And it will be, but he's a lock to see over 100 targets, I think, and he's brinking on retirement, so you don't want to play on that in Dynasty, but in redraft, you better get one last hurrah off the guy.
If I was looking for a one more
He's
run,
a great buy if you're a championship team looking for a tight end who may have just lost Hunter Henry.
Oh, absolutely.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
I don't have a Greg Olsen.
I know you don't, buddy.
But I've got a
Jimmy Graham that you probably should keep.
I got a Jimmy Graham that I'm probably holding on to.
All right. Anything else we want to add on the Panthers that we didn't cover?
Nah.
All right.